Ladies and gentlemen, you are being fooled by these six. Watch what's the next motion. Watch the motion. Listen carefully. You all have been sandbagged.
I make a motion to terminate the employment of Mr. Dion Jackson, the superintendent of the Berkeley County School District, effective immediately. Do we have a second?
You want your children to not know the truth because you're racist. It's so funny how all these conservative, patriot, pro-American causes are always, like founded in racism. You know what I'm saying? On day one, my man literally didn't even have a chance to make a reputation for himself within that position. He didn't even have an opportunity to, show people what he's made of in that position.
I know the justification and the rationale reasoning for firing an individual who just was proficient in his first annual evaluation. What's the reason, Mr. Chairman? You made the motion. What's the reason? Why are we terminating his employment?
Mr. Barrow, I'm not going to discuss personnel matters in open session.
No, we don't want him because, he's black and critical race theory is going all over the place, and that means that he's going to push that. When in reality, people in, kids in 4th and 3rd and 6th grade aren't learning about the intricacies of this battle and that battle and this slave ship and that slave ship, and this is how America intervened in Central America. People, when you're in the 3rd grade, you're not learning super in-depth details about American history. You're learning basic things, and most public school systems are rather pro-American in the way that they teach stuff anyway. So all of this outrage and fear over critical race theory really just goes to show how racist these people are.
All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
The motion carries 6-3.
It is unbelievable that on the first night of a new board that such things would come up. Unbelievable.
We have another motion.
Unbelievable.
We have people all over the country who honestly believe that public school systems that barely have budgets to afford anything are putting litter boxes in their schools for kids who identify as furries, even though that's, not been found anywhere because it's completely ridiculous. Joe Rogan, he talks about it, and then he has people like Matt Walsh who come on his podcast, and luckily Joe and his editor corrected him on the spot.
You're talking about hormone blockers?
Yeah.
Millions of kids have been on hormone blockers? Really?
I'm sure someone's going to fact check me on that, but my guess is that we're into the millions now at this point. Yeah, that would be my guess.
It says over the last 5 years, there were at least 4,780 adolescents who started puberty blockers and had a prior gender dysphoria diagnosis.
Matt Walsh, he's just like, millions of kids are undergoing gender surgery and puberty blockers and all that. And it's like, and they look at the numbers like, actually, it's about 1,000 a year or so, or 1,000 and million, not 1 million, millions. That's quite a gap. That's quite a distance because conservatives just make stuff up. They just make stuff up. That's all they do. They literally just get on camera and say things. And millions of people around the country believe it so much to the point that we got to fire this black man on day one because we don't want our children learning about the truth about the United States. Okay.
I make a motion to name Anthony Dixon.
What are you so scared of? I'm very concerned that my child is going to learn that, in fact, Christopher Columbus wasn't a good guy. Seriously, what are you so afraid of? Because, whether it's Christopher Columbus or the fact that we had segregation in this country, let alone slavery, but the process through the civil rights era of what we did to get the Civil Rights Bill passed and so on and so forth. Why don't you want your kids learning about that? What do you want them learning? You want them learning that, the Pilgrims came over here and we just got along great. And somehow 100 million people practically just disappeared, from the tip of North America to the tip of South America. Practically, there's a much more indigenous people in Central and South America. But still, we're talking about the United States. When was the last time you saw an indigenous Native American? You have to really look hard for them when they used to be all over the country, right? How are we going to explain that? Did they just disappear one day? They just woke up and walked up a staircase to heaven? What are we talking about here? You want your children to not know the truth because because you're racist.
Y'all, this is crazy. White Kansas high school students threatened to hang black players, taunt them with blackface baby doll, and attempt to raid black players' locker room after the game. I thought this was fake. I thought it was an Onion article, but it's 100% factual. A girls basketball player said first their student section called one of our players the N-word. Their parents were also calling our students and our parents racial slurs. Their student section was waving around a black baby doll. And if you go to this Twitter, you can actually see a video of the baby doll. Absolutely bizarre, y'all. The coach said, do I just leave the court with my team? They just did this chant to my child. Do I run up in the stands? They said they were going to hang our students. They had students out in the parking lot doing donuts, saying they would hang our players. This student said by the time the game ended, it got so bad that their student section tried to raid our locker room. They came running at us. It was definitely very scary. They were trying to attack us.
2 high schools in Kansas are investigating an incident where basketball players from Topeka High School were taunted with racist threats during a visit to Valley Center High School, according to KSNW News. It is alleged that one player from Topeka was at the free throw line on Saturday when he was called an expletive. Students and fans also began chanting the N-word and waving a black baby doll. Students from the Valley Center School also threatened to lynch their rival players. Coach Gio Lyons told LSN that he'd never seen such behavior during his entire career. Quote, nobody, myself included, did anything to protect my kids or my child for that matter. It was my son who was at the free throw line when the chant, "He's a P-word" started, said Lyons. Topeka High School sophomore Jamara Benning witnessed the harassment and shared videos on social media of the students waving the black baby doll. She said, this past Saturday, my high school's basketball team traveled to Valley Center, Kansas, only to experience blatant racism and disrespect. Never in a million years did I think I would get called out of my name with racial slurs. Please help Topeka High bring light to this situation. Twitter, do your thing. The Valley Center School District apologized in a statement for the incident, stating, based on a review of videos, the baby was passed around between students during the game. While the baby, again, a black baby doll, emphasis mine, was not brought intentionally as a prop to taunt or threaten Topeka High School without context, seeing the baby and images of the baby caused hurt and concern to many, and for that, we are very sorry, the statement read. They acknowledged that their students acted inappropriately and were not representative of their school district, said Superintendent Dr. Corey L. Gibson. As a result of that game, according to Valley Center High School, administration spent that weekend and most of this past Monday continuing to investigate what transpired. They have reviewed the video and have had countless interviews with those in attendance. Furthermore, VCHS and Topeka High School administration worked collaboratively to investigate claims of racist remarks being made. As of December 6th, administration from both schools has not found any evidence that such remarks were made during or following the basketball game. VCHS admitted that a chant of "He's a P-word" was made. However, they also claimed that in the midst of this, their staff and administration began to remove students from the stands. Coach Lyons disputes this. He says that he wants more from Valley Center.
And to make matters worse, nothing was done. Valley Center in Kansas did nothing to reprimand these kids. So the coach started a petition to ban students and fans from coming to their high school games. And because people were understandably mad, the school where the students went who did this, they had to cancel because they were getting so many online threats. Well, that's too bad, y'all. Keep that same energy.
Before I go, of course, I wouldn't be surprised if this proves to be true, that students in a predominantly white school and white school district said what they are accused of saying. But I wouldn't be shocked if none of this happened. But the fact that black students playing basketball even have to consider if they were being called the N-word and told they were going to be lynched is enough for me.